What's up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my breakdown and predictions for UFC Fight Island 2, Deiveson Figueiredo versus Joseph Benavidez. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another breakdown and prediction video. This time we are breaking down UFC Fight Island 2. It's a pretty decent card, lots of solid matchups, lots of close fights as well. I think there's going to be a lot of underdogs that really have a shot to win a lot of fights here. Before we break it down and get into it, if you guys can leave a like, also subscribe if you haven't yet, would really appreciate that. On the way to 5,000 subscribers, need about 700 more. If we can get that by UFC 252, that would be a great goal to reach there. Thank you guys for all your support. Had a lot of people sign up on Patreon. That means a lot. Had a lot of people donate as well. Means a lot as well. Had a lot of people in the comments saying they've won money. That really makes me happy because that's my goal. My goal is to help people make money and give out some great advice for free on here on my breakdown and prediction videos, and hopefully keep that up there. So, coming off a very, very good Wednesday for me. Went 4-1 on my bets. My Kamaru Usman and Kattar parlay had 3.5 units on that. That cashed. Had a 3-leg parlay, 2 units on it. Had Chimaev, had Shore, and had Kattar on that. Had a 2-unit play on Calvin Kattar and Dan Ige over 3.5 rounds. Had a 2-unit play on Jimmy Rivera to win the fight. And then I had a 1.25 unit play on Molly McCann to win, and that one, I'll tell you, it surprised me a lot. Santos looked nothing like she did against Mara Morella Barella, like my goodness, and McCann just did not show up. So it was a small play, but still, prevented me from the sweep. Other than that, went up about 7 units on Wednesday, so crazy night. Hopefully you guys hit some bets too. There's a lot of good opportunities on that card, and there's some good opportunities here as well. I haven't placed any bets yet, but I'll let you guys know. Going to be doing the live stream on Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. As always, come in, ask questions. I'll go over my bets. This is not a card you're going to want to do parlays on. Lots and lots of live dogs here. I do see some spots I'm looking to bet, though, so I'll let you guys know. But other than that, let's get into the video. So I spent about all day, woke up around 9. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning now. All day researching these fights, because these are some tough matchups, so I wanted to try to get the best edge possible here. And we'll start with the first fight of the night here. And this fight is really weird to me. We have Sergey Spivac. He is 25 years old. He is 6'3" with a 78-inch reach. He is 10-2 and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. And we have Carlos Felipe. He is 25 years old. He is 6'1". We don't know his reach. He is 8-0 and 5-0 in his last 5 fights. So taking a look at the line here, Spivac is -145 and Felipe is +125. Tried everything I could to find as much tape as I could on this Felipe guy, and I only found about 2 or 3 fights. And in those fights, I just didn't like what I saw. And I'm very confused by the line because, Spivac is pretty bad, but I mean, he beat Tai Tuivasa, submitted him. That has to mean something. Like, Tai Tuivasa is someone who's fought in the UFC. But this dude, Felipe, he's really big. I think he weighed in his last fight 245. Spivac was picking up Tai Tuivasa. He was slamming him. So I think, Spivac will probably be able to get Felipe to the ground. And as for Felipe striking, doesn't look like he has much power. I don't think he's finished any of his fights standing. I think he has 6 knockouts, but 6 of them were TKOs. So he doesn't really look to have that power. And he was landing clean on the one opponent, but he just wasn't going down. It didn't look like he was hitting him that hard, but he was throwing hard. So it was very weird. Like I said, only saw 2 or 3 fights. His takedown defense looked good, but of course it's against lower level competition. And Spivac has some good trips, some good takedowns, and he has some good BJJ as well. Spivac has finished a lot of his fights by submission. I'll give you the exact number here. Spivac has finished 60% of his fights by submission there. So I'm gonna go Spivac here, and I'm kind of confident on it. We haven't seen Felipe. He hasn't fought since 2017. He popped for steroids, so he's been out for 3 years. So I'm really interested to see him on the scale. So we'll talk about it on the live stream. But just after watching tape, I didn't see anything I liked. He doesn't look good. So I don't understand why this line's so close against Spivac. Of course, the odds makers always, aren't always on Spivac too much. They had him as a big underdog, I believe, as against Tai Tuivasa, but I don't see how he loses this fight. I just think this is a good matchup for him, but you never know with Spivac. He's not good, but I just don't like what I see with Felipe. So I'm going to go Tai Tuivasa. I'm going to go decision. I think he's going to take him down, and Felipe does not have a good gas tank at all. I've seen him. He looked a little tired there in the first round in the fight I saw. So give me Sergey Spivac there to win by a very ugly, weird decision there. All right, pretty good fight here. Ibrahimov versus Arman Tsarukyan. Tsarukyan, he is 5'8" with a 72.5-inch reach. He is 14-2, and he is 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Ibrahimov, he is 5'6", 72.5-inch reach. He is 10-3 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Looking at the odds here, Tsarukyan is -210 and Hamosh is +175. This matchup kind of scares me, but I do like Tsarukyan here. I think he can win this fight. I think it's a good matchup for him as long as he stays safe. I am concerned he's going to try to take down Hamosh, and I don't know if that's a good idea. This guy is very, very young. He's 23 years old. I can definitely see him pinning Hamosh up against the cage, wearing him down. He does not throw much volume. Hamosh does not throw much volume as well, but Hamosh does hit a little bit harder, but I think Tsarukyan is the better striker overall. I think he has more variety with his striking there. And I just think he's the stronger fighter. Maybe he does take Hamosh down. I don't think Hamosh is going to take him down. I really don't expect that to happen. So if this does play on the feet, I do favor Tsarukyan to just land a little bit more, avoid that power shot of Hamosh. But I have a funny feeling that Tsarukyan does take down Hamosh, and I don't know if that's a good idea, but honestly, he should be fine as long as he does not make any mistakes on the ground. But Hamosh is very, very dangerous, so I do think he's live for that reason, but I got to go Tsarukyan here. I think he's going to land the better strikes, the more strikes, pin him up against the cage, win a very grinding fight, maybe take him down a couple times, stay on top, stay safe, and win a decision there. Maybe something I'm looking at betting. I wish the line was a little bit closer, -210. I think that's a little bit too wide, but I do think he gets the job done. All right, I think this fight's going to be actually a pretty good fight. Amir Albazi versus Malcolm Gordon. You got Albazi. He is 26 years old. He is 5'6". Do not know his reach. He is 12-1 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Malcolm Gordon, he is 30 years old. He is 5'7" with a 70-inch reach. 12-3 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Looking at the line here, Albazi is a -180 favorite, and Gordon is a +155 underdog. So watching tape on both of these guys, and I don't know why Gordon's the underdog here. I think he's the better overall fighter. Maybe I'm just a guess here, but maybe it's because he has been knocked out 3 times. Albazi's never been finished. Both these guys are finishers. Both these guys have finished 92% of his fights for Albazi and 83% of his fights for Gordon. But I do think Gordon's the better striker. I think he hits very hard. Albazi's not that great of a striker, so I give the striking advantage to Gordon. And on the mat, Gordon is very, very good on the mat. Very, very good BJJ, very good scrambles. He's a BJJ black belt. I don't know what Albazi is. I'm assuming he's a BJJ black belt because he's really good on the ground as well, but I definitely favor Gordon on the ground everywhere. So in a fight where I feel Gordon is better on the feet, he's better on the ground, I don't get why he is an underdog here. So I might be looking at placing my first underdog bet. Haven't done it yet. Kind of want to see the weigh-ins tomorrow before I make any bets because there's a lot of unknowns on this card, but I'll definitely let you guys know on the live stream. But I think this is a good spot for Gordon as long as he's not getting knocked out, and honestly, I don't think he has to worry about that here. So I like Gordon. I've been checking his Instagram. He looks hungry. Watch an interview with him. Again, he looks hungry. He looks like he's ready to come in here and get a win. So yeah, I like him. It's his striking used to not be very good, but he has been working on it. He admitted to be working on it. His coaches said his striking got a lot better, and this guy is dangerous. He's a very dangerous fighter. So I like Gordon. Albazi's no scrub, but I do think Gordon's the better fighter. So I'm going to take Gordon to win. I want to say submission. I'm going to say second round submission for Malcolm Gordon there. All right, Montel Jackson versus Brett Johns, and what a fight this is. Like this fight is amazing. Like Montel Jackson, he's 20 years old. He is 5'10" with a 75-inch reach. He is 9-1 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Jackson lands 3.12 significant strikes per minute with a 47% striking accuracy. He has 3.112 significant strikes absorbed with a 58% striking defense. He averages 1.8 takedowns with 100% takedown accuracy. He has a 68% takedown defense. He averages 0.9 submissions per 15 minutes. Jackson has 10 fights. He's won 56 by knockout, 11% by submission, and 67% for his overall finish rate. and he has lost by decision once, and that was to Ricky Simón. Honestly, no shame in that. Brett Johns, he is 20 years old. He is 5'7" with a 70-inch reach. Going to have a 5.5-inch reach disadvantage and a 3-inch height disadvantage there. Johns is 16-2, and he is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Johns lands slightly more with 3.41 significant strikes per minute with a 45% striking accuracy. He absorbs 4.74 significant strikes per minute with a 55% striking defense. He averages 3.72 takedowns per 50 minutes, which is extremely good, with a 48% accuracy, which is good as well. He does have a 78% takedown defense and averages 0.5 submissions per 50 minutes. Johns has 18 fights. He's won 13 by knockout, 38 by submission, and has a 51% finish rate overall. He has lost by decision twice. He has never been knocked out or submitted. So I've been going back and forth on this fight. I see tons and tons of action coming on Brett Johns. I see tons of people betting him, and at first I didn't like it, but I hadn't watched tape at that point, and then after taping both of these guys, I like Johns in this fight. I've seen a lot of things from Jackson that I think Johns can really take advantage of it, and now I do see why all this money is coming in on Johns, and I think he's going to be my second underdog pick here, and a pretty big one, but the line is closing. I think he's definitely closing here, and I think the line can possibly get even closer by fight time. So what I seen Jackson get taken down a lot, and I did like what I seen with him getting up and all that, but I seen in some fights where he gave his back. Like I think he gave his back against Ricky Simón, and if you give your back against Brett Johns, I think you're going to sleep. And Johns is going to come in here. He's not going to try to strike with Jackson. He's going to be very takedown heavy, and I think he gets him. Like, Johns is a very good wrestler. We saw what he did to Tony Gravely, another good wrestler there in Gravely, and I don't know. I think he can get Jackson down a bunch of times, and when Jackson gets up, he does give his back at points, and when he does against Johns, I don't like that. I do not like that. So at first I was on Johns, but after watching tape, I think there are some spots for Johns to really take advantage. And plus, like, Johns is so underrated. Like, he came in as an underdog against Tony Gravely. I was all over that last fight. But now he's against Jackson's very good. Like, not taking anything away from him, but I just think there's opportunities here for Johns to either win by a submission or win a decision here. So I'm gonna go decision for Johns. I'm gonna say he gets the back, almost gets a submission, but I think Jackson's good enough to get out of it. But I think Johns is gonna get enough takedowns to win a submission. To win a decision. Probably not as many takedowns as Ricky Simón got, like 8 takedowns against Jackson. Probably not that many, but maybe like 4 or 5. Maybe some control time as well. Like I said, Jackson's good at getting up, but he does expose his back sometimes when he does get up. So for that reason, I am going to pick Brett Johns by decision, and that's something I'm looking at betting. I would have probably liked to bet it when the line was a lot wider, but I wanted to make sure I taped the fights before I made any bets here. All right, this is a fight I'm not really looking forward to. Joel Alvarez versus Joe Duffy. Duffy is 32 years old, 5'10" with a 73-inch reach. He is 16-4 and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Alvarez, he is 27 years old. He is 6'3", 77-inch reach, 16-2 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. So Alvarez is going to have about a 4-inch reach disadvantage and a 4-inch height advantage there for Alvarez. So about a 4-inch in each category there. So Alvarez is a plus 290 underdog, and Duffy is a minus 350 favorite, which just honestly is very crazy. But after watching tape, I don't want to say I see why it's that wide, but I do think Duffy should be favored. Maybe not minus 350, but I do see him winning this fight. I think he's better in the striking, in the wrestling, and the grappling, just pretty much everywhere. And I don't really see a path to victory for Alvarez. As much as I looked, I did not like what I seen from Alvarez. I think Duffy's going to have a striking advantage here, and then a big wrestling advantage. I think he can take down Alvarez, stay out of trouble, and win a decision here probably. Just don't really see a path to victory for Alvarez. I see people taking shots on Alvarez at those odds. I don't hate it, but then again, I just don't think he's going to win there. So give me Joe Duffy. I'm going to say by decision, but the line is very wide. I would not play that straight. I would not parlay that. Probably just stay away from that fight. But Joe Duffy should get that done. All right, a fight I'm really looking forward to here. We got Grant Dawson versus Narimani. So Dawson, he is 26 years old, very young kid, up-and-comer, 5'10", 72-inch reach. He is 15-1 and 5-0 in his last 5 fights. His one loss was a knockout loss with some elbows there. He lands 3.8 significant strikes per minute with a 44% striking accuracy. He absorbs 3.46 significant strikes per minute with a 43% striking defense. Very poor striking defense there. He averages 6 takedowns per 15 minutes, which is absolutely insane. 54% takedown accuracy there. Again, a great number there. He has a 50% takedown defense. He averages 1 submission per 15 minutes. Dawson has 16 fights. He's won by knockout 20% of the time. He's won by submission 73% of the time. And he does have about a 93% finish rate. He has, like I said, lost by knockout once. So Narimani, he is 33 years old, getting up there in age. He is 5'8" with a 70-inch reach. He is 12-3 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He lands 3.8 significant strikes per minute with a 43% striking accuracy. He absorbs 2.8 significant strikes per minute with a 60% striking defense. He averages 2.64 takedowns per 50 minutes with a 41% takedown accuracy. He has a pretty good 75% takedown defense. 15 fights for Narimani, 17% won by knockout, 42% won by submission, and 59% finish rate overall. He has lost by decision twice. He's lost by knockout once. All right, so this is such a tough fight to call, and just taking a look at the odds here, Dawson is minus 235. I think some money is actually coming in on Narimani here, and I can see why. I see a lot of people taking a shot on Narimani. I don't know why. I think this is a good matchup for Narimani. I mean, I looked at a bunch of tape on Dawson. His wrestling is fantastic, but you know, he's been facing guys that can't wrestle, can't stuff takedowns, and Narimani is a very, very good wrestler. And on the feet, it's really not even close. Like, Dawson's not a good striker at all. And I just think that if Narimani can stuff those takedowns, and on the feet, I like Narimani here. I really do. As crazy as that sounds, that's gonna be my 3rd underdog pick. I don't think Dawson has the striking to take this, and Dawson's gonna have to work very, very hard for a takedown here against Narimani. Like, Narimani has very good takedown defense, and I don't know if Dawson has the wrestling to get it. I mean, Dawson's relentless, but Narimani has some great takedown defense. Saw him stuff some takedowns against Mike Grundy, a very, very good wrestler there. After watching tape, I don't know. I'm gonna take a shot on Narimani. I might bet that as well. Let's see the line there again. Plus 195. I do think it should be a lot closer, and like I said, the line is getting closer for a good reason here. Like, Dawson's not good on the feet, and if he can't get this to the ground, he's going to be in a world of trouble, in my opinion. So I think it's worth taking a shot on this on Narimani here, because I just see him stuffing takedowns, and on the feet, it's like I said, it's not going to be close. So I see Dawson get hit way too much. He has no striking defense. His hands are not good at all. He really relies on that wrestling, and he's really faced nobody near the caliber wrestler of Narimani. So I think it's worth the shot as an underdog play here. So I might bet that. I want to see the weigh-ins, but something I'm looking at there. So I'm going to pick Narimani to win by a decision here. Don't really see Dawson submitting him. I think Dawson would have to win by decision is his path to victory. Narimani, I believe, is a BJJ black belt as well. So just another reason, like, I think he can hang on the ground as well with Dawson. Like, Dawson's extremely good, but you know, Narimani's not bad on the ground as well. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of value on that Narimani line. So give me Narimani by decision. So that's 3 underdogs so far. And then I might be placing bets on a couple of those for sure. So next we got Ibrahimov versus Roman Elazi. Elazi, he is 32 years old. He is 6'3". We do not know his reach. He is 6-0 and 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Ibrahimov, he is 25 years old. He is 6'3" with a 78.5-inch reach. He is 8-2 and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Take a look at the odds here. Elazi is a minus 185 favorite, and Ibrahimov is a plus 160 underdog. I'll come right out and say it. I like Elazi to win here, but not overly confident in it. I think Ibrahimov is a very bad fighter. I was watching tape on him. He comes out. He tries to knock you out in that first minute. I saw him land, and I'm not joking you, like 30 strikes in 30 seconds in one of his fights. Gassed himself out. So his gas tank is absolutely atrocious. He tries to throw a lot. He lands like 5 strikes per minute, which is, you know, a lot for not having a great gas tank. But listen to this. He absorbs 6 strikes per minute, which is a ton. Like, that is a ton. So what I think is going to happen here, I think Elazi is going to weather that early storm and end up, you know, tiring out Ibrahimov. Ibrahimov has some power, but I don't think he has crazy power, and Elazi has some good power there. The thing is, Ibrahimov is very, very tough. I just don't think he's good. So either what's going to happen, I think Dolidze is going to either win a decision here or even get a knockout, because this guy has some power. I want to say he's finished every single one of his fights. Double check that. Dolidze's finished 50% of his fights by knockout and 50% of his fights by submission. He does have a good submission game as well, so maybe he does try to take Ibrahimov down and tire him out. That's definitely a possibility there. Ibrahimov does have a 100% takedown defense, but nobody's really tried to take him down much in the UFC so far. So yeah, I don't mind Dolidze here. I see people betting this fight. I wouldn't really touch this fight because I can just bet the under. Bet the under in this fight. This is probably going to go under. Two guys that are going to try to finish. Like, these guys are crazy. They're going to yell at each other. This dude Dolidze, he's a madman. He yells, he screams, he talks crap. It is going to be a fun fight. I think this is going to be the fight of the night here. Just my opinion. It's either going to be that or, of course, either that or the main event. But I do think this has good potential to be the fight of the night, because I think someone's going to go to sleep. Whether it's Ibrahimov early or Dolidze late. I'm leaning Dolidze late. I just don't think Ibrahimov's good at all. Only concern I have with Dolidze is not much experience, and he hasn't fought since like 2018, but I think he'll be fine here. Looked him up on Instagram. He looks like he's been training, looks like he's been active, so don't mind Dolidze there, and I'm going to pick him to win. I'm going to go by third round knockout for Dolidze there. But it's going to be a really fun fight. Like, these guys are two wackos. It's going to be amazing. All right. Now we got a very good fight here. Alexander Pantoja versus Askarov. Pantoja, he is 30 years old. He is 5'5" with a 68-inch reach. Going to have a 1-inch reach advantage. He is 22-4 and he is 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He lands 4.58 significant strikes per minute with a 47% striking accuracy, and he absorbs 3.53 significant strikes per minute with a 53% striking defense. He averages 1.1 takedowns per 15 minutes with a 35% takedown accuracy, has a 60% takedown defense, averages 1.28 submissions per 15 minutes. So 26 fights for Pantoja, 33% won by knockout, 38% won by submission, a 71% finish rate overall for Pantoja there. He's lost by decision 4 times. So Askarov, he is 27 years old, he is 5'6", 67-inch reach. He has a record of 11-0-1, and he's 4-0-1 in his last 5 fights. That one draw coming against Brandon Moreno. Obviously, no shame in that. Moreno's a very good fighter there. He averages 3.43 significant strikes per minute, slightly less than Pantoja, with a 48% accuracy. He absorbs only 2.7 significant strikes per minute with a 58% striking defense. He averages 2 takedowns per 50 minutes with a 22% takedown accuracy. Has a 66% takedown defense. Askarov has 12 fights. He's won by knockout 27% of the time. He's won by submission 64% of the time. He has a 91% finish rate. Obviously, he's never been knocked out, submitted, or lost by decision. So this fight, I like Pantoja quite a bit in this fight. I see some love for Askarov, and I can understand why. This fight could play out a little bit close. I just favor him in the striking so much. I think he's going to land more. He has more power. He has a very, very good BJJ. I think he's better at BJJ than Askarov. The only thing I give Askarov is the wrestling advantage. And does he really want to take down Pantoja? I mean, I think Pantoja has great scrambles. If he does get taken down, I think he can either hop back up, maybe find a reversal or a sweep. I just don't see Askarov doing much on the ground. And when it's on the feet, I have Pantoja all day. So I'm really finding it hard to pick Askarov in this fight. Maybe he could win a close decision there, but I just like Pantoja to win. I think Pantoja is very underrated. I think a lot of people are sleeping on him here. I see a lot of bets coming in on Askarov, and maybe there is some value on the line. Maybe it does play out close, but I just think Pantoja wins this fight. Just throwing more, throwing the harder shots, landing the harder shots. And Askarov has fought Moreno and Tim Elliott, but Pantoja is no joke. So I think Pantoja is going to win this fight. I'm going to pick him to win by decision. Don't think he's going to finish Askarov anything. Don't see this fight finishing. So give me Pantoja by decision. Looking at the odds here, Pantoja is minus 200 and Askarov is plus 175. If that line gets any closer, I will definitely look at a bet of that on that. I do think it could play out kind of close, but I definitely lean Pantoja in this fight to win by decision. All right, next we have the People's Main Event, the fight we have all been waiting for. Ariane Lipsky versus Luana Carolina. Did some extra tape study on Lipsky there. Checked her Instagram and all that. Just wanted to make sure I had the fight correct with my prediction here. But Lipsky is 26 years old. She is 5'6" with a 67-inch reach. She is 12-5, and she is 3-2 in her last 5 fights. Karolina, she is 27 years old. She is 5'6" with a 69-inch reach, 6-1, 4-1 in her last 5 fights. So I spent a lot of my day watching tape on these girls, and I'll tell you that it was not very fun. I was watching tape on Lipsky, and I almost puked. Like, she's very, very bad. She plays defense with her face. She doesn't know what defense is. She was making Molly McCann look like, I don't know, like Chris Cyborg or something. Like, Molly McCann was piecing her up, and like she was fighting with her hands down. She looked very slow. It was awful. Karolina looked very good. She looked good in her fight against Priscilla Ketchup-Beating, and everybody looks good against Ketchup-Beating, so you can't really take that into account. And honestly, I'll come out and say it, I was looking at picking Karolina. I really was. I think she lands the more volume. I think Lipsky gets hit a lot. Karolina gets hit a lot as well, but I was leaning Karolina, and then I was watching some interviews, and I heard something that really turned me off of Karolina. In her interview, she said that she broke her spine a couple months back, and she took a couple months off. So picking her went right out the window because Lipsky's been working. She's been working. I've been checking her Instagram. She's been working. She's put in work in her interviews. She seems motivated. She said she's hunting for the knockout. She said she's gotten a lot better. And then hearing that Karolina broke her spine, I don't like the sound of that. So as I was want to pick Karolina, I can't really pick her after that news. Lipsky does have the power advantage, and Karolina does get hit quite a bit. And I'm really curious to see this fight because coming back from a broken spine, she said she didn't get surgery on it. She said she needed to do some rehab. She said she couldn't move for like a month straight, which that's pretty crazy that she's able to fight again. Congrats to her for that. But I don't know. I'm gonna pick Lipsky to win the fight, possibly get a knockout because Karolina does leave some openings, and she was getting hit a lot by Ketchup-Beating, and I do think Lipsky hits quite a bit harder than Priscilla Ketchup-Beating there. So I'm gonna pick Lipsky to win by 3rd round knockout. This is going to be probably an exciting fight for as awful as it looks on paper. I think there's going to be a lot of volume. Karolina really throws a lot of volume, but she does leave herself to get open to get hit, and I don't think that's a good idea against Lipsky. So I'm going to pick Lipsky to win. Like I said, I'm very excited to see that fight and seeing Karolina come back from a very severe injury, it sounded like. All right, up next we got Mark Diakiese versus Rafael Fizzyev. We have Diakiese. He is 27 years old. He is 5'10" with a 73-inch reach. He is 14-3 and 2-3 in his last 5 fights. Fizzyev, he is 27 years old. He is 5'8" with a 71-inch reach. He is 7-1 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. We'll check the odds here, and forgot to check the odds on Lipsky Karolina. Lipsky is minus 130. Karolina is plus 110. I see people betting on both sides for this fight. I don't suggest doing that. It seems a lot like the Jojua and Belbita fight, which a lot of people are on Belbita. I think I was the only one in the world on Jojua. And I actually surprised myself there. I didn't think Jojua was going to do it that easily, but this is one of those fights like something crazy can happen. Like Karolina could look very good or something. I don't know, but I wouldn't touch that fight from a betting perspective. Like that would, maybe there's value on Lipsky's line, but I wouldn't touch it. All right, so Diakiese is a minus 160 favorite, and Fizzyev is plus 140. So I like this fight a lot for Diakiese. I think he's better pretty much everywhere. Maybe the power advantage can go to Fizzyev, but I think Diakiese went through a rough patch in his career, but he's won 2 in a row against some decent competition, and I think he's just going to be the better fighter overall here. I think the striking could be close, but Diakiese has some wrestling in his back pocket. Diakiese does land 2.23 takedowns per 50 minutes, and he really went back to that. In the past 2 fights, I think he landed a combined, I want to say 6 or 7 takedowns. So if he can go back to some wrestling here, for sure can take this decision. Honestly, looking at maybe playing Diakiese here, because I do like him to win quite a bit, as long as he does not get knocked out. And this guy's a pretty good chin. Has been knocked out only 0 times. He's never been knocked out. He's been submitted once. So good chin on him, like I said. So yeah, I like him to win this fight, and I'm I think the line could be a little bit wider, so I might take a shot on Diakiese. We'll definitely check the weigh-ins tomorrow before I place any bets and go over them on the live stream. But yeah, Diakiese, I like him to win. I'm going to pick him to win by decision. Maybe lands a takedown around to seal the round. I think the striking is going to be kind of close, edge it to Diakiese, just slightly. But yeah, I think those takedowns will play a huge part in this victory for Diakiese here. So Diakiese by decision for me. And also, guys, I do post a lot of great stuff on my Twitter. So if you guys have not followed me on Twitter, DFS_numbers. Come talk fights on Fight Night. I talk bets, talk a lot of great stuff on Twitter. So come engage with me on Twitter. Other than that, we will get to this fight here, which is the co-main event. And I like it. I like this co-main event quite a bit. Like, two guys that I don't hate. I like Hermansen quite a bit. I've always been a fan of Hermansen. Gastelum, I don't hate him. I kind of liked him for a little bit, but he hasn't been doing too good lately. I really thought he'd beat Darren Till. Congrats to anybody that picked Till. Till was a big underdog in that fight. Gastelum did not look too great in that fight. I really thought Gastelum would take that, but that surprised me there. And then, of course, he lost to Adesanya. No shame in that at all. He put up a great fight. That was probably fight of the year last year, so that was a great fight there. But Gastelum, he's 28 years old. Going to be the younger fighter here by 4 years. He is 5'9" with a 71.5-inch reach, which is going to be looks like a 5 or 6 reach disadvantage there. He's 16-5, 2-3 in his last 5 fights. So, like I said, has not been doing the best, but he's been fighting some good competition there. So he lands 3.86 significant strikes per minute with a 43% striking accuracy. He absorbs 2.87 significant strikes per minute with a 61% striking defense. Averages 0.82 takedowns per 50 minutes with a 50% takedown accuracy and is a 62% takedown defense. He has 20 fights. He's won by knockout 30% of the time, which that surprised me a lot. When you think of Gastelum, you think of power and knockouts, but 30%, that really surprised me there. 35% by submission and has a 75% overall finish rate. He's lost by decision 4 times. He's lost by submission once. Jack Hermansen, he is 32 years old. He is 6'1", so one have about a 4-inch height advantage, 77.5-inch reach. He's 20-5 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He lands 4.9 significant strikes per minute, which is over one more strike than Gastelum per minute, with a 56% striking accuracy, which is very, very, very good there. He absorbs only 1.7 significant strikes per minute with a 64% striking defense. He averages 2.38 takedowns per 50 minutes with a 47% takedown accuracy, which is very good. 73% takedown defense. 25 fights. He's won by knockout 50% of the time. Submission 30% of the time. Finish rate of 80%. He has lost by decision once. Knockout twice. Submission twice. So, the odds here, Gastelum is a -120 favorite, and Hermansen is a +100 underdog. And I'll come right out and say it. I'm picking my 4th underdog to win here with Jack Hermansen. I just like him in this fight. He has the length. He has the reach. His striking is not bad. I think he's a more motivated fighter here. I listened to an interview with him. He said he's been working every single day to get better. He wants to improve himself. He's one of those guys with an amazing work ethic, and I don't know if I can say the same about Gastelum. I really wonder where his head's at right now. Coming off the loss to Adesanya, the loss to Till, where he just did not look like himself really in that fight. He did not fight to the expectation I thought he was going to fight at. So I wonder where his head's at. And Jack Hermansen is someone who's not going to mess around. And Hermansen's also a guy that has great wrestling. And I know we can talk about Gastelum's takedown defense, but Hermansen has very, very good takedowns. I think he can get Gastelum down, and when he does, he has some very, very good ground and pound. He's a very good submission game as well, and Gastelum has been submitted before. I watched the fight with Chris Weidman. Chris Weidman had a lot of success taking down Kelvin Gastelum there. So, I don't know. I like Hermansen to win this fight. I like him to win this fight. As an underdog play, I might look at taking a bet on it. Because I just see Hermansen being able to outstrike him, use that range, use those kicks. And the only real reason I see Gastelum maybe winning would be a knockout, which is very possible. It is. He has that power. But I just feel like Hermansen's going to fight smart. You stick to the outside, take him down a few times, maybe lock up a submission. Don't really think that's likely, but it is possible. So I'm going to pick Hermansen to win a decision here. Like I said, I might look at taking a bet at that at plus 100. I see a lot of love for Hermansen coming in, and I do understand why. Don't want to say he should be the favorite, but I do like this pick'em because, you know, Gastelum does have that power, and he's a good striker, but I just think there's more paths to victory here for Hermansen. So I'm going to pick Hermansen to win by decision there against Kelvin Gastelum. All right, next we have the main event. Deiveson Figueiredo versus Joseph Benavidez. Lots of controversy surrounding this fight, which scares me because I did want to place a bet on this fight, but I don't know if I will at this point. Figueiredo tested positive for COVID, ended up being a false test, and I don't know if I heard this correctly. I think someone on Twitter said it, but I don't think Figueiredo's getting to Abu Dhabi. I think they said Thursday or Friday. So if that's true, don't really like that for him, and you know, I don't know if he's going to make weight because he did miss weight, you know, the last time they fought. So I don't know if he's going to make weight. I don't know if this fight's even going to happen. But you know, his coaches ended up saying that he's about 10 pounds lighter than he was at this point last year. So maybe he will make the weight, but I don't know. There's a lot of red flags to me. But we will talk about this matchup. Figueiredo, he is 32 years old. He is 5'5" with a 68-inch reach. He is 18-1. He is 4-1 in his last 5 fights. His one loss coming to Formiga. Formiga took him down and controlled him all fight. I was actually on Formiga that fight, and we'll get into it in a little bit. But you know, I really thought Benavidez' last fight would be able to take Figueiredo down and kind of implement something that Formiga did in that fight. Just obviously Benavidez did not have that top game with Formiga, but maybe take Figueiredo down, hold him down at points. But you know, he wasn't able to do that last fight. But Figueiredo lands only 2.43 significant strikes per minute. Which is something I don't like to see. That's very, very low volume. But the thing is, when he throws and when he hits you, he hits like a truck for this division. So, I mean, his power makes up for his lack of output there. And he does have a 52% accuracy, extremely accurate. He absorbs only 2.15 significant strikes per minute with a 55% striking defense. His averages 1.86 takedowns per 50 minutes with a 50% takedown accuracy. He has a 58% takedown defense, which is not the best, but you know, it looked good against Dolidze in their last fight there. And he averages 2.27 submissions per 15 minutes. So he has 19 fights. He's won by knockout 50% of the time. He's won by submission 33% of the time. He has a finish rate of 83%. He's lost by decision once, like I said, to Formiga. As for Joseph Benavidez, he's getting up there in age. He's 35 years old. He is 5'4" with a 65-inch reach, going to be at a 3-inch reach disadvantage. He is 28-6, and he is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. He lands 3.45 significant strikes per minute with a 33% striking accuracy. He absorbs 2.54 significant strikes per minute with a 63% striking defense. By the way, Benavidez has a 33% striking accuracy. That is very, very bad there. He averages 1.45 takedowns per 50 minutes with a 29% takedown accuracy. Has a 65% takedown defense. He's 34 fights. He's won by knockout 29% of the time. He's won by submission 32% of the time. He has a finish rate of 61%. He's lost by decision 4 times. He's lost by knockout twice. Looking at the odds here, Figueiredo is minus 200 and Benavidez is plus 170. And honestly, I don't know what to do in this matchup. I like Figueiredo to win. I just think there's a lot of red flags. I want to see him at weigh-ins. This is a big, big fight that we need to see the weigh-ins. So make sure you guys tune into the live stream. But as for the matchup goes, I like Figueiredo to win this fight. I do think the line should be kind of closer, but Figueiredo has that crazy, crazy power. We saw what he did to Benavidez last time, and I know we can talk about the headbutt and all that, but you know, he put him out, and he does that to pretty much all of his opponents. So I do think Figueiredo is going to get him out of there in that first 3 rounds. In those first 3 rounds and one of those rounds, but if he doesn't, Benavidez is very live in this fight just by throwing more. But it's up to how the judges are going to score it. You know, power versus volume. How are they going to score it? Because Figueiredo is going to land the harder shots, the more convincing shots, but Benavidez is probably going to throw a little bit more. Don't really see this fight going to the ground. I see it pretty much standing up the whole time, and I do think Figueiredo is going to clip Benavidez at some point and put him out and be the champion. Maybe we'll have to see if he makes weight. So make sure you guys tune into the live stream Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, because these weigh-ins are very, very important. If Figueiredo looks good, if he looks like no struggling or anything on the weight cut, I might look at placing a bet on him. I wanted to, but you know, I want to wait for these weigh-ins to be sure. But I think there's a lot of good spots for some bets. Really looking forward to it. My final prediction there is Figueiredo by 3rd round knockout. All right, guys, that'll do it. It is about 3 something here. I'm very tired. I'm about to go to bed. Got some more studying to do just to finish up my studying before the live stream tomorrow. Make sure you guys tune in, talking some DraftKings, talking some bets, talking some final thoughts, and also talking the weigh-ins, which will be very big for a lot of these matchups. I got to see these guys on the scales. Other than that, make sure you guys follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers. Come engage with me on Fight Night. Really like to talk fights with you guys. Make sure you guys like this video if it helped you out at all. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't yet. Trying to get 5,000 subscribers by the next fight card. That would be amazing goal to hit. Thank you guys so much for your support. Everybody that donated to me, thank you so much. Really means a lot. It really helps me out. I spend a lot of time on this. Like I spent from the moment I woke up to right now, just researching this card, taping this card, putting as much work in as possible to, hopefully get an edge and hopefully win some more money. We've had 3 really good cards in a row. Hopefully we'll make it 4. I definitely am looking at placing some bets on some underdogs in this card. So that's about all I got for you guys, and good luck, and let's cash some bets.